Hello, all things real time, and welcome back. We're hopping now into game 2 of Lorimbo versus Don Ilya from the most recent Alpha Navigators tournament. We just saw a pretty clean kind of Magmadon all-in out of yourself, and now we're going to see, I guess, when Magmadon all-ins fail, right?
Yeah, that's just like cheese fail, when cheese fails. So here, game 2, I remember being happy about being Don Ilya. Is really strong and I don't usually win against him. So I thought, you know what, well, why not do it again, right? What can go wrong? So, but I failed to consider that unfortunately this map does have a bunch of characteristics that do not make the Magmadon timing as strong. First off, there is quite a lot of maneuverability for the Vanguard player. You can split quite a bit because everything is bigger, and at the same time it's really hard to get surrounds. So I failed to calculate that, and you're gonna see how this comes out to bite me in the ass.
Yeah, so this is the map that was played in the previous beta release,
Alpha.
right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, beta alpha, I forget. And yeah, like you're saying, the surrounds are a bit weird because it all kind of revolves around this kind of central area with the trees. So the setting up surround is a little bit harder because there's really only kind of two parts, unless you start to kind of bust down the side routes a bit.
Yeah. By the way, you can check up why I'm opening this way in the video that should be already be published by now on my opening theories and why I like to open certain ways. It's a bit weaker on this map because of you don't really have two spots, unfortunately. You have to. It's a bit trickier, but you still can get it through. So once again, Don Ilya is opening in a very similar manner. Second dog coming in very quickly with that upgrade. This is more or less became the meta right now. There are some players that play
some people play lancers, some people play dogs, but yeah, that's it really.
Yeah.
It's interesting because kind of CC first was quite a lot more common in the previous release, whereas now it seems like I don't think that's super viable anymore.
I think the biggest problem with CC first is just how much map control you get. Here I do pretty critical mistake here. I'm completely out with my first brute for no reason. I'm getting I wanted to get the vision cam to prevent him from getting in, but in hindsight this was a terrible mistake. So I started mortgaging workers like there is no tomorrow. I lose so many of them. This is very hard to play against this. And this is the reason why this opening can be a bit weak against the dog opening. You need to play it well, but I do get a nice surround here. I managed to trick him into overcommitting, so I managed to kill almost all of his dog. I'm not really sure, but I would say I'm ahead from this early game.
Yeah,
because now I can, due to the fact that he lost so many of the dogs, he kind of loses map control. Here I go for a split because the brute was low and I managed to snipe yet another dog. So I'm really happy about that. He does get 2 fins in return and a veterancy, more importantly. But I decided to go across the map and see what damage I can do.
Yeah, you did get the vision cap, and that's quite good now, especially if he tries to play cars. But it's also really annoying if you take your third up in this location, he can kind of see the way you're rotating your army, either standing here and then he can attack through your natural here, or if your units are over here, then he can rotate up to the top. We're sending this brute across. Can you talk a bit about that?
Well, the idea is, just like before, I know that there is a timing which I can force him to make Lancer or turrets, and this is exactly what I'm going for. Moreover, I know that a Brute wins 1v1 against a Lancer, so the Lancer will always need to kite, and this can buy you a lot of time, force an overcharge, and just generally damage your economy. There is really no cost, because once the dog are dealt with, this is what can go wrong with a dog opening. If you lose your dogs, you lose all of them up pressure suddenly, and you have to be a bit more careful. So I managed to, harass him a bit, be annoying, but I don't really need to do too much for now. It's just free value, no reason not to get it. I could have tried to get some camps instead, but I don't really have goons yet in this game. I kind of forgot my second production structure, so I didn't quite get my conclave. The reasoning for this was mostly the high pressure from the dog made it hard for me to get a gas. He's gonna dive in, try to get some more kills. It's a bit tricky. I try to outplay this. I think I managed to get a nice clean outplay here. Yeah, I managed to save this one because I needed a mid farm anyway, and he can't really fight with 2 workers. So now he's gonna just stay here. The brute arrives to clean it up. Wow, I get distracted, and he's also getting Crazy micro from broadside. Oh, I think I was attacking on the other side for a while. But first I'm getting the resource camp in the bottom right corner. You're missing it. I'm sending this one, and at the same time I'm clearing camps in the bottom right. Yep. So a bit of multitasking going on. That's why we were not microing, because we were both doing something else. I managed to escape with this. I also see this worker going, but unfortunately, though I see it, I'm wondering why he's doing this. In the game, I don't actually like connect the dots, so I don't realize he wants to expand there, unfortunately. And this allows my opponent to get quite a bit of value before I realize what's going on. I tried to scout for both thirds, but I only managed to get one. The other one got sniped, I think, or get sniped later on. Same time, I'm getting my third expansion, getting that gas mining going. As I said, I wanted to go for the Magmadon timing. Now let's talk about why the Magmadon time is not a great idea in this position. So first off, my early game wasn't as good as the previous one. I had to invest quite a bit in defenses. I lost some workers all over the map. I did slow him down a bit, but I didn't slow him down that much. And also I just generally had less gas. There's also generally less gas in this map, because this gas is further away compared to the other one. And you have the gas on the third, but that's obviously gonna come online later. So you just don't have enough gas or enough stuff to do that well that early. So you can't hit a clean timing. And as I said before, every timing is reliant on eating quick. So
Yeah, Don being quite brave here, kind of moving out with his Lancers. The Lancers are pretty tanky, and like you said in the last cast, when they get hit, they obviously get a lot more move speed, so they can get out pretty well. But the Exos moving out here are really expensive and actually don't kite particularly well. We're kind of seeing here, especially unupgraded. He is having to play quite safe with his Lancers while he harasses more with the Exos.
yeah, so I split my army here. I know that he cannot deal with 4 brutes. I make a judgment. I just try to get as much value as possible. I think I lose a brute gaunt here. Unfortunately, the Lancers are really strong against brutes, but I managed to clean up because he's forced to micro on the other side. So I get pretty good value from both sides. Here I thought I could do a bit more. Maybe if I just focused. He does get the upgrade. Now these Exos are gonna do a lot of damage. The difference between this game and the previous, and the other problem with the Magmadon timing, is that he's just not getting lances. He's going straight into Exos. He's 7 minutes 20, already has a big amount of Exos. He's skipping the Lancer completely and delaying the Medtech. So he's playing very aggressively here. And those Exos are gonna be crucial to his defense. I'm not even close to the Magmadon timing yet, brother. I don't have gas. I have the thing done, and I am building Magmadons, but I have only 1 gas mining. I'm getting 5 more here, but the one in the natural is not being used. This is a disaster of a build by me. I didn't quite adapt well to the map. I didn't think this through. That's what can happen, unfortunately, in tournaments. It's not always easy to adapt on the fly, because you don't know which maps are gonna be played. So,
do you know about this center base yet? Have you kind of figured it out? Because this is a huge boost. Obviously, it's
I'm
twice as good.
completely clueless.
Yeah.
I'm completely clueless. This is the first time I scouted. This is where I'm like, oh fuck. He has the center base. So what's the problem here? I just don't have enough Magmadons. I have like 1, 2, and I used my trample already. So I realized by seeing it that the base, luckily for me, hasn't come quite online yet. So so far this is a normal base, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's paid for itself yet, probably.
It's not getting that much value. Like, another Magmadon show up, I see a bit of his army, I'm like, I think I can take this fight. I think I can deny this fight. So this is my attempt of denying this base, because I know I cannot stay here too long, or I am gonna lose. I also know that he doesn't have any other base, so if he loses this, it should be pretty easy for me to win the game after that. He has a flak cannon. I use once again the Infest to try and force him out, and I go straight onto the mineral line while zoning with the one Magmadon. I managed to get a lot of Infest going here.
Yeah, killing all of those mobs is really good. That's so many fiends.
Yeah. There's so many fiends. I still have 1 Magmadon. So once again, if I had like 2 or 3 more Magmadons here, I think I could push all the way to his base. But unfortunately, right here, I'm only all of my Magmadons are getting kited. There is 1 more that's coming in, but
with the Medtech coming through, that's really big as well, because these are quite squishy. But with Medtech,
and
they can kite.
This was I was talking about with veterancy. Notice these Exos have insane veterancy, all of them. So there's definitely something going on here.
It feels like a win for you though, having taken out this middle base. Your army haven't,
That's what I
you've
thought.
lost the Magmadon count, but your Gaunt count is still really high. This feels pretty okay, I think.
I was completely convinced that I had won the game at this point, but unfortunately, this is what I've been talking about recently a lot. There is you're always on a timer. You're always a bit on a timer and mining as much gas as I possibly can, because their death balls are really strong. Medtech Exos, especially
This is a bug, by the way. It's really irritating. If you try and put a medtech in a bunker, it will heal before it gets there. So you have to like really babysit it to get into the bunker. It's very annoying.
Yeah.
But that's what was happening there. But yeah, this is something I mentioned in the last game. He's got the medtech in the bunker, so he's healing these up really nicely, keeping the energy on the medtech high. But he's kind of got a lot of bobs walking around because you cleared this middle base. He hasn't really, got anywhere good to mine. I think he's going to have to pull these over to this base, but it actually looks like they're going for the tree line.
Yeah. So, wait, did he get our base there? I didn't notice that, if he did.
Yeah, he might go for this one, I guess.
That would have been really surprising. This is also the first time I'm watching this replay. So I thought the game was over here, honestly. He doesn't have a third. I have so many Magmadons. What does he have? A bunch of Exos. But I severely underestimate that even with the regeneration, Exos do so much damage. And you just cannot get on top of him without having a flank. The last game I had a flank and I was forcing him in his base, right? But this time he doesn't have any flanks. I tried to do once again, but he dodges quite nicely, and look at this. Look, this is a master class in dealing with Magmadons. This is also the reason why it's so hard to play against that Exo to Deathball. There's not that much that can actually hit. I managed to get some clean hits here and a bit of a flank, but unfortunately I lost all of my Magmadon counts and my guns are also almost dead. So I get cleaned up here and I'm really worried about it. I'm suddenly
He got a little bit lucky, I think, kind of catching your army quite far away from his base. If he was sitting really far back and he'd only seen it when it was like here, he wouldn't have that far to kite.
Absolutely. I should have teched here to imps, getting a fourth base. There were a bunch of things I could have done. Oh, he did get this base. This was quite a smart play by my opponent.
I think this drone just flew out of a command center that wasn't finished yet. I think it just flew this way.
I didn't notice that.
No, I think that's definitely a bug.
So here I was trying to take control of the middle base, which would also have been a win condition, by the way. But unfortunately I tried to do everything at the same time, right? I threw so many units in the mid grinder, and then I tried to take this base. Not exactly the cleanest play from me, unfortunately.
If you'd done this at the same time that you'd moved out, maybe this would already be finished, and then you'd have Shroud to fall back to, and even having lost that army, you could still kind of hold this position. Because you have neither an army or a finished base, this is probably not going to go up, right? Yep.
Unfortunately, I have so many extra. This is what I was talking about. Like, the veterans is so big, it's so easy to get. You just cannot do. You just cannot defend this position. The Magmadons do nothing. You can never actually get on top of his army. Even without splitting, just stutter stepping is enough. Once you have the upgrades, the Marines do quite nicely. And even if you get some damage on them, the medtech are gonna heal them back up. Here I make the mistake of using all of my tramples at once and I'm forced to concede the base. I don't cancel. That's another big mistake. So here I remember Mixu was screaming at me that I was trolling. That it was so easy to win this game if I had just dropped behind or something. I decided to transition to a lot of workers here being pulled. I have the transition ready for Infernals, for the Flame Imps, but I think it wasn't quite ready, or I wasn't quite coordinating well, because here I fumble a lot. I don't quite do it
you
properly.
Can see you kind of pre-pulled the imps, but they're not activating.
I think I don't have it, if I remember correctly. I think I get it like now. So here I'm feeling a bit more confident because I have Flame Imp, I think. But the problem is I don't realize how much, like, the change was insane, by the way, HaRT. It's so annoying to use Flame Imp. No, the Flame Imp.
Yeah. So now you have to click the button once for every time that you want the imps to turn on.
It's insanely annoying. It gives so much more time. It's a big nerf to the imps. I don't quite know why. And in the worst part, very nice split by Don Ilya here. I do get a good connection. I just don't have enough stuff here, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think if you kind of done that earlier with maybe a few more Magmadons, kind of synced it up with the imps, it could have gone a little bit better. A lot of these are really low HP, and
Yeah,
He did do
absolutely.
good splits, but they were still all taking the AoE and they were all still stunned. So
But the problem is once
could bring
again,
level.
it doesn't matter how low HP a unit has, it's gonna get back to you in the next trade completely full of health. This is why it can be so frustrating to play against this, and this is what I was really worried about.
Yeah, I think
So
you're also equal on eco technically. You both have 3
yeah,
full mining
absolutely.
bases.
I
I
should
think
have
if you'd known about
expanded
this,
taking a
yeah.
fourth. Yeah, I had no clue here. I had no clue. It takes a fourth bases ahead in eco, is ahead in everything. I knew that he didn't have a base because I had Fiends checking that one. I have two back. They don't make home. I could have a Rust, I guess. There are a lot of. Well, I played this game very badly. Yeah, this is a Mix's genius idea was to go for crabs here. The idea is that you can actually trade with Exos from afar, so you can prevent him from just cutting back and forth forever. There might be something to it. I'm still not completely convinced, but regardless, at this point of the game, I didn't quite realize how far behind I was. Perfect. As I was saying, the crabs are a bit of an interesting choice here, but I'm just too behind. And unfortunately, it's too little too late. So another cool play that I didn't think quite through. This was Mixo's idea. Well done by Mixo. By the way, I was in a call like with 20 other people screaming in my ears because I am no pussy. I don't need to concentrate on the game to win. I'm such a god gamer that even with 20 people screaming in my ears, I can still win. Look at his base! No, cameraman, look at his base! His main, I'm dropping there! My cameraman is unfortunately a bit too bad.
No,
So,
it's because there's no alerts when you're in a replay. That's my.
yeah,
that's
unfortunately. So here I decided to kill the base, and second thought maybe going straight for the natural to try to get that that going, because I think yeah he gets the second turret. It's just a bit too much. I lost a bit too much killing that. I was pretty confident about that because the idea was he can't really push into imps, magmas and stuff. I could have done so much more here. I played so bad, so badly. I could have flanked with imps from below. I have a whole base down there, for God's sake. Very nice split by him. I was trying to macro everything at the same time. I fumble it. Look at my Magnum getting stuck. My crabs are actually helping him more than they're helping me. I'm trying to hold this as much as I can. So I try to go again with a bit of a flank and some Magmadons. But once again, the Flaming Imps do not find enough success and I fumble it again. I was trying to kill it at the same time in this natural. There's a bit of a base trade going on. On second thought, even killing this would probably not have been enough. Because it's just too much stuff. Yeah, he managed to get just enough Marines to defend this, unfortunately. But I had killed most of his production, actually. He didn't have that much production going on. So there could have been a chance if I just make it better. Yeah, just 2 Raxes here, I guess. That's...
yeah,
I don't
5
know.
total on 2 base is kind of okay, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think now his main problem is he has no gas. Oh, and actually he's on 3cc. 6
yeah,
ranks.
he's still on 3cc, 6 Raxes, yeah. I think at this point it was a nice try, but meanwhile I was just 2 behind. And the splits were good by him. I macroed Paul. It was completely deserved by him to win this game. Very nice idea. Unfortunately, I did not notice the base in the top left for the whole game. This is the first time I'm seeing this. That explains actually his production. Was really confused in game by how much production he was having on 2 bases, but I guess he was on 3. So very nice, very cool idea by him to get a proxy base. It's so hard to scout the whole map because you don't have overloads, you don't really have... you have to constantly remember to check these side bases, especially on map like Secluded Groove, unfortunately. But here I'm just coping. I don't quite realize, because to this point I still don't know the existence. For the whole game I don't know the existence of the top left save base. So I think maybe there's still a chance, a god fight, but I just don't have enough army. He has so many... He's already pre-splitting.
To be honest, I think just his Lancers can probably kill your army at this point. So he's gonna come through from the top left here and finish you off.
Yeah, completely coping here, and I think I GG in very soon. So yeah, it should be. Yeah, I tried one's last trample, but I'm just
that's it for the videos on this series. You tied up 1-1, but how does this series end if you wanna?
Yes, absolutely. So game 3, I managed to adapt. I learn from my mistakes and I go for a quicker timing. Plus, I go for flaming straight on. I do not wait for him to do this, and I managed to get him to a chokehold and managed to win the game somewhat easily from that position. I also have a very good early game, if I remember correctly. So I managed to clutch this series 2-1, and suddenly I'm in the finals, and I'm gonna play one of the best players in the world. At the time, it was ranked number 2. At the moment, it's ranked number 5, but it doesn't really matter because everyone knows this is theory. Probably the best Infernal in like the West or something. Depending on which pro players are playing at that time. He has won so many of these tournaments. I think he's like first in points. It's a really scary opponent. I did not think I was gonna be able to win even one game, but the series turned out to be much cooler than I expected. And you guys are gonna see it's probably the best game of Stormgate ever played. It's amazing, actually amazing.